which already we started in previous classes. Giving a particular scientific name to living organisms is known as nomenclature. In this method, we will provide a distinct scientific name to the living organisms. In last class, we discussed about the two different type of nomenclatures. In one method, where two scientific words used as a living organisms, used as a scientific names for living organisms. In another method, there are three words will use as a scientific name. So the first one is binomial nomenclature method, and the second one is trinomial nomenclature method. In last class, I gave you about both methods, binomial nomenclature and trinomial nomenclature method. At last, one that is the concept tautonymy. Tautonymy. Observe. Tautonymy or tautonyms. Tautonymy or tautonyms. What is tautonymy or tautonyms that we are going to discuss now? See, in a binomial name, if both the genus and species are same. For example, if you observe here, NASA, Axis, Katla, Hilsa. If you observe these names here, both the generic name and the specific epithet, that is the genus name, are same. So in this condition, both the generic name and the specific epithet, that is species name, is same. So this type of binomial names are known as tautonyms. What is tautonym or what is tautonymy? If the both the genus and the species are same in a scientific name, in a binomial name, that is known as tautonymy. What is tautonymy? If the genus name and the species name, or if the generic name and the specific epithet are same in a binomial name, that is known as tautonymy. So what is tautonyms? If in a binomial name, both the genus and the species name are same, that is known as tautonymy. Is it clear? So tautonymy or tautonymous. Is it clear? Tautonymous. So that is also you have to remember tautonyms. What is tautonym? In binomial nomenclature method, if both the genus name and the species name are same, that are known as tautonyms. Okay, if you observe here, NASA, there is a NASA, it is a scientific name of cobra, and after that Axis, it is a scientific name of spotted deer. It is a scientific name of spotted deer. That also you have to remember. So that is also you have to remember here. After that, Hilsa, it is also fish. So here these are the tautonyms. Some examples for tautonyms. Wherever you will find this type of names, this type of binomial names, what these are called? These are called as tautonyms. That also you have to remember. Right. Up to that, the nomenclature methods are completed. Binomial nomenclature and also trinomial nomenclature. After that, tautonyms. It is completed. And after completion of this, next we are going to discuss up to that the second topic in this chapter, that is diversity in the living world. The diversity in the living world is completed. In the topic diversity in the living world, we discussed what is the estimated number of species present on the earth, what is biodiversity, how many species were discovered and described, and after that we discussed the basic steps in the discovery are identification of organisms, that are characterization, identification, nomenclature, and classification. We discussed all that. Now we have to discuss the next concept in this chapter, taxonomical categories. The next concept we are going to discuss here is taxonomical categories. Taxonomical categories. What is this taxonomical categories? See, the sequential arrangement of various categories which are useful for the classification of organisms are taxonomical categories. So these are various groups that helps us to classify the living organisms. Taxonomical categories. See, the group of organism is known as a category here. In this, there are different categories present. Each category is known as one taxon. So there are different categories available for us to classify the organisms, to classify the living organisms. There is availability of different taxa, or different groups of classification, different units of classification. For example, you will see kingdom. Kingdom is one category in the classification. So the organisms which possess similar characters will keep as a kingdom. And after that, in this kingdom, there are some variations in the organisms that belongs to same kingdom. Again, we will separate that based on their characters. Again, we required another category or group or unit to place that organisms. So like that, to classify the living organisms, we required some grouping units, some grouping units. That grouping units are nothing but taxonomical categories. Taxonomical categories. Taxonomical categories are the basic required grouping units for the classification of organisms. The basic requirement for a classification of organism. So in this, each category is considered as one taxon. Each category is considered as a taxon. Taxon. Each category. What is taxon? Taxon is the basic unit of classification. It is a fundamental unit of classification. Taxon. Taxon is the unit of classification that you have to remember. Taxon is the unit of classification at any category, at any category of taxonomical hierarchy or taxonomical categories. So taxon is the unit of classification that can represent any category in the taxonomical hierarchy. Okay. So I will give you this taxon later. Just first you have to know what are the important taxonomical categories and what is taxonomical hierarchy. Here I am going to give you first the taxonomical categories. There are 7 obligatory categories. Obligatory must means must. So we must have to use that 7 categories to classify any living organism. To classify any living organism, we must have to use at least 7 categories. At least 7 categories. These are known as obligatory categories. Obligatory categories. Along with these 7, some more also we may use. Some more also we may use. We will discuss about all that. But this all categories must be arranged in a sequence, in a descending order. Always that should be arranged in a descending order. That is known as the taxonomical hierarchy. So what is the taxonomical hierarchy? Taxonomical hierarchy, and after discussing about taxonomical hierarchy, we will discuss what is taxonomical hierarchy. The sequential arrangement of various taxonomical categories in descending order. The sequential arrangement of arrangement, yes, taxonomical categories in their descending order. Order is known as taxonomical hierarchy. What is the taxonomical hierarchy? the sequential arrangement of various taxonomical categories in their descending order. Descending order. So from large to small, we have to arrange. So all the taxonomical categories always should be arranged in descending order. In taxonomical hierarchy, the taxonomical categories are always in descending order. That you have to remember. So there are grouping units for the classification of living organisms. That grouping units are taxonomical categories. With the help of these taxonomical categories only, we will place the living organisms in a particular scientific. In this, the sequential arrangement of various taxonomical categories in the descending order is known as the taxonomical hierarchy. So this taxonomical hierarchy was proposed by the Carolus Linnaeus. Already we discussed about this scientist. Is popularized as a father of taxonomy. He is considered as a father of taxonomy. Carolus Linnaeus is a taxonomist who is considered as a father of taxonomy, and he is a person still considered as a father of taxonomy. And one more thing here, Carolus Linnaeus was the person proposed taxonomical hierarchy. Who proposed the taxonomical hierarchy? That is the arrangement of various taxonomical categories in a sequence, in a descending sequence. That is Carolus Linnaeus. Okay, taxonomical hierarchy concept was given by Carolus von Linnaeus. Carolus von Linnaeus, that you have to remember here, right? So now, what are the obligatory categories? How many obligatory categories are there? There are 7 obligatory categories. There are 7 obligatory categories in the taxonomical hierarchy. In the there are 7. What are that 7 obligatory categories? So here, kingdom. After kingdom, phylum or division. Next to phylum, class. Next to class, order. After order, family. And after that, genus. At last, so how hierarchy? There are 7 objects, and then that for classification of. So there are 7 obligatory categories. 7 obligatory categories that we must have to use for the classification of a living organism. That are kingdom, phylum or division. For animals, we have to use phylum. For plants, we have to use division. For animals, you have to use phylum. For plants, you have to use a division. And after phylum, there is a class. After class, order. After order, family. After family, genus. After genus, species is there. After genus, the species is there. So that you have to remember here. Observe once again. Once again, all of you listen here. In the classification, we must have to use taxonomical series. We have to arrange in a sequence of their descending order, which is known as taxonomical hierarchy. It is known as taxonomical hierarchy. This concept was proposed by Carolus Linnaeus. This taxonomical hierarchy is always in descending order. Usually it starts with kingdom and ends with species. It starts with kingdom and ends with species. Is it clear? So how many obligatory categories are there in taxonomical hierarchy? 7 obligatory categories are there in the taxonomical hierarchy. So that you have to remember. So all these are the categories. Whatever the group you are using to grouping the organisms or to classify the organisms in category. Class is one category like that. A group of organisms that have similar characters. A group of organisms that have similar characters. Now, we have taxon. Taxon is the unit of classification. Any category in taxonomical hierarchy is considered as a taxon. What is taxon? Taxon is the unit of classification. It is the unit of classification. Taxon is the unit of classification. Taxon is the unit of classification. See, in this taxon, any category in the taxonomical hierarchy, any category in the taxonomical hierarchy is considered as a taxon. So, taxon is the unit of classification. Any category in the taxonomical hierarchy is known as a taxon. Kingdom is a taxon. Phylum is a taxon. Class also a taxon. Anything, any category in the taxonomical hierarchy is considered as a taxon. So, more than one taxon is known as taxa. Taxon is singular, taxa is plural. For example, all these 7 obligatory categories are known as taxa. Only kingdom, taxon. Is it clear? So, taxon is the unit of classification. It indicates a group of organisms, either that kingdom or that is a species. Okay, but all are taxa only. So, which is the basic fundamental? Sorry, which is the unit of classification? That is taxon. Any category in the taxonomical hierarchy is considered as a taxon. All categories are considered as a taxa. More than one taxon is a taxa. What is taxon? Taxon is the unit of classification. Any category in the taxonomical hierarchy is known as taxon. Any taxon in taxonomical hierarchy is known as a taxon. Okay, is it clear? Taxon, right? So, is singular that represent any one of these taxa collectively represent all. More than one taxon collectively known as taxa. Okay, right? For example, see here, if you want to classify an organism, for example, if you want to classify human being only with the help of these 7 obligatory categories, as already I mentioned, for the classification of every living organism, you must have to use these 7 obligatory categories. 7 obligatory categories you must have to use. Is it right? So these are the must required categories for the classification. Along with that, some more also we will use. We will discuss that later. Now, one example we will discuss based on this how to classify. For example, if you want to classify the human being, human is an animal which belongs to kingdom Animalia. So first you have to write in the classification of human, you have to write kingdom Animalia. All animals belong to kingdom Animalia. And after that, human belongs to which phylum? The man or human belongs to phylum Chordata. Phylum Chordata, that you have to mention. And human being belongs to class Mammalia. Class Mammalia, that you have to mention there. And human being belongs to order Primata. Order Primata. And human belongs to family Hominidae. Hominidae. Genus Homo. Species Sapiens. Here, for example, with the help of these 7 obligatory categories, how to classify human? Human being belongs to kingdom. Which kingdom? That is Animalia. Human belongs to kingdom Animalia. Human belongs to kingdom Animalia. That you have to remember here. And after that, human belongs to phylum. Human belongs to phylum Chordata. Chordata. Class Mammalia. Class Mammalia. Order Primata. Primata. Family Hominidae. Family Hominidae. Genus Homo. Species Sapiens. Species Sapiens. A simple classification of human being. I am not using more categories here. I am using only the 7 must required categories or obligatory categories. So human being belongs to kingdom Animalia, phylum Chordata, class Mammalia, order Primata, family Hominidae, genus Homo, species Sapiens. As the scientific name, the binomial name of human being is Homo sapiens. No, in that the first one is genus, second one is species. So Homo sapiens. Like that, you can easily classify the animals and also plants. For plants, you have to use the division. You have to use division instead of phylum. So very simple type of classification for human I gave here. Human belongs to kingdom Animalia. Human belongs to phylum Chordata. Human belongs to class Mammalia. Order Primata. Family Hominidae. Genus Homo. Species is Sapiens. But is it enough? Is it enough to classify the organisms? Is it enough to classify the organisms? Now it is just like a address of human being in kingdom Animalia. The taxonomical position of human being in kingdom Animalia, or the address of Homo sapiens in kingdom Animalia. If I will ask you how to reach to your home, you can say your address. Okay. For example, if any foreigner will ask you your address, you may tell, I am belongs to country India, I am belongs to state Karnataka. So before that you may mention, I am belongs to South India. In South India, I am belongs to state Karnataka. In the Karnataka, I am belongs to Northeast Karnataka or South Karnataka. Again in that, you may tell, I am belongs to district Ballari. In Ballari, I belongs to the native, that is the Ballari town. And after that, you will tell the exact location or a street name. And after that, you will tell your door name. Then the person will identify your location or your address. Like that, in kingdom Animalia, there is a huge variety of life. A huge variety of animals are there in kingdom Animalia. How could you notice the taxonomic position of Homo sapien? How to know the taxonomic? It is just like a telling address of Homo sapien in kingdom Animalia. Human being will belong to kingdom Animalia. After that, which phylum? It is like which country, and after that, which state? In that state, where, which location, which district, which taluk, which mandal, which town, and where is your address, exact door number, like that. So, to know the systematic position or taxonomical position of Homo sapien, this all will help us with the help of these taxonomical categories in the hierarchy. We can notice the systematic position or the taxonomical position of a living organism. Okay, that we have to observe here. But along with this, you may mention some landmarks. So if you will tell your native is Ballari, in Ballari you will tell street name, and along with statement you may tell some landmarks. With the help of landmarks, I can easily identify your exact house. Like that here also, along with this obligatory categories, we have to use some more intermediate categories. Between these 7 obligatory categories, we may use some intermediate categories. Categories. What are that intermediate categories we may use? So after kingdom, you may use sub-kingdom. After kingdom, you may use sub-kingdom. So sub-kingdom is smaller than kingdom. Sub-kingdom. After kingdom, these 7 are must mark. These 7 categories are obligatory. But along with this, you may use some more intermediate categories to exactly find out the systematic position or taxonomical position of an organism. With the help of this, you may not able to identify the taxonomical position of an organism easily. But if you use some more intermediate categories, you can easily notice the systematic position or taxonomical position of an organism. So after kingdom, which you may use subkingdom. After subkingdom and above the phylum, you may use superphylum. Above the phylum or above the division, you may use superphylum or super division. After that, phylum or division. And after completion of this phylum or division, you may use subphylum or subdivision. Above the class, super class. After class, subclass. Above the order, super order. After order, suborder. Above the family, super family. After family, subfamily. Subfamily. And before the genus, there is no need to use super genus or a subgenus. Genus is there, and after that you may use tribe. You may use tribe and subspecies. Tribe before species, tribe you may use, and after species you may use subspecies. After species you may use subspecies. Like that, you have to notice all this one. So intermediate categories also there. Not only the categories here, not only obligatory categories, along with obligatory categories, you may use some intermediate categories also here. Is it clear, ma, all of you? So observe here once again, the 7 obligatory categories in the taxonomical hierarchy are kingdom, phylum or division, class, order, family, genus, and species. But along with this, what are the intermediate categories available? What are the intermediate categories here? After kingdom, you may use subkingdom. After subkingdom, you may use superphylum or super division. See, for every obligatory category here, before super, after sub, that you have to remember. Before phylum, superphylum. After phylum, subphylum. Before phylum, superphylum. After phylum, subphylum. Before class, superclass. After class, subclass. Before order, superorder. After order, suborder. Before family, superfamily. After sub. And after the genus is there. After genus, before species. Before species, a tribe is there. Before species, a tribe is there. And after tribe species, after species, subspecies also there. So like that, you have to remember. Is it clear? You may use some intermediate categories also to classify the organisms, not only 7 obligatory categories. Along with that, you may use this intermediate categories also. There is subkingdom, superphylum, subphylum, superclass, subclass, superorder, suborder, superfamily, subfamily, tribe, subspecies. That are intermediate categories which you may use for the classification of organisms. But these are not must. These are not must. There is no need to mention intermediate categories for every classification. It is not must. But which are must? 7 obligatory categories are must. At least you have to mention a maximum of 7 obligatory categories to classify the organisms. Okay, to classify the organisms, it is your choice. Intermediate categories is your choice. If you mention the classification of an organism along with intermediate categories, then you can easily find out the position that will give more detailed, then you can easily find out that organisms in the taxonomical categories. Just I gave you what is the taxonomical hierarchy, who proposed the taxonomical hierarchy, what is taxon, what is taxa, and what are the 7 obligatory categories in the taxonomical hierarchy. Now, we have to discuss about all this in detail. We have to discuss about all 7 obligatory categories in detail, one by one we have to discuss. Okay, before going to discuss that, observe one thing here. See, kingdom to species, it is a descending order, as already I told you. If you observe kingdom to order, kingdom to species, and species to kingdom. Species to kingdom. What the difference you will observe, you will notice here. In descending order of taxonomical hierarchy, what you will notice? In ascending order of taxonomical hierarchy, what you should notice? Okay, what should you notice here that you have to mention, you have to identify? Okay, here if you observe from kingdom to species, the number of organisms will be decreases. The number of organisms will be decreases. In all this, which is the largest unit of classification here, in these 7 obligatory categories, which is the largest category that poses more number of organisms or large number of organisms is kingdom. So in these 7 obligatory categories, which is the largest category or which is the largest unit of classification in the obligatory category? So that is kingdom. And which is the smallest unit of classification in these 7 obligatory categories? Species. So the largest unit of classification in the obligatory categories only I am telling. There are some other units of classification, we will discuss that later. But in these 7 obligatory categories, which is the largest category and which is the smallest category? Kingdom is the largest category and species is the smallest category. In which taxon? In which taxon? All this I may know as a taxon, already I gave you. So in which taxon more number of organisms you will notice? Kingdom. So from kingdom to species, how is the number of organisms? From kingdom to species, the number of organisms will decreases. From kingdom to species, the number of organisms will decreases, but the relationship between organisms will increases. the relationship between organisms will increases. In kingdom, there are different type of animals are there. They differs from each other in various characteristic features. But when compared with the kingdom, in phylum, the relationship between the organisms is more. When compared with phylum in class, the relation is more. Like that, with the increase, if you move from kingdom to species, the relationship or closeness between the organisms. Okay. Once again, so from kingdom to species, the number of organisms will decreases, but the relationship between the organisms or similarities between the organisms will increases. Okay, it is just like a observe. It is just like a branches of a tree. So if we'll move towards lateral sides, the relation may reduces. Whenever we'll move towards the stem, so the relation will more, the closeness will more. So like that here also, if we move from kingdom to species, the number of organisms will decreases, but the relation between the organisms will increases. The closeness or the similarity between the organisms will increases. If it is in opposite direction, if we move from species to kingdom, what will happen, ma? How is the number? The number of organisms will increases. The number of organisms will increases, but the relationship between the organisms or the similarity between the organisms will decreases. The similarity between the organisms will decreases. Is it clear? Important question they may ask in competitive exams, ma. So if we move in ascending order, what will happen? In descending order, what will happen? In ascending order or descending order, they will ask an exam. If you move in descending order in taxonomical hierarchy, all the sequential arrangement in descending order is taxonomical hierarchy, no? So they may ask, if you will move in a descending order in taxonomical hierarchy, which of the following is correct option? Which of the following you will get? They may give options. In that, the number of first option, the number of organisms will increases with the increase of relationship between the organisms. Second option, the number of organisms decreases, but the relationship between the organisms may increases. Third option, the number of organisms decreases, but the relationship between the organisms will increases. And the last option here, the number of organisms will increases with the decrease of relationship. So what is the correct answer? They mentioned here descending order. If we move in a descending order in taxonomical hierarchy, which of the following you will find? Descending order means kingdom to species. What you will find? The number of organisms will increases, but the relationship between the organisms or the similarity between the organisms will decreases. So that if same question they will ask in opposite manner. If you will move in ascending order in taxonomical hierarchy, if you will move in a ascending order in taxonomical hierarchy, which of the following you will notice? What will happen? Ascending order means species to kingdom. Species to kingdom. What will happen? The number of organisms will decreases. Is it right? Is it right? No. If you observe here, the number of organisms will increases, but the relationship or similarities between the organisms will decreases. If we move in ascending order, that is from species to kingdom, the number of organisms will increases, but the relationship between the organisms or the similarities between the organisms will decreases. So that too we have to remember. If we move from kingdom to species, that is descending order. If we move from species to kingdom, that is ascending order. What will happen in this taxonomical hierarchy? Taxonomical hierarchy that you have to notice. Which is the largest category or taxon in the taxonomical hierarchy? Kingdom. Which is the smallest taxon? Species. Okay. So which is the basic unit of classification here? Species is the basic unit of classification. The smallest unit of classification here in the obligatory categories or the basic unit of classification is the species. That's clear. Then after completion of this, we have to discuss about all this taxa in detail. First, we will discuss kingdom. What is kingdom? How this kingdom will establish, and what are the examples for that kingdom? After that, phylum. Like that, for all taxa, the definition, their respective examples, and all other details of that particular category we have to discuss. We will discuss that in next class. In this class, what we discussed taxonomical categories. Before that, we discussed taconyms. If both the generic and specific name, specific epithet is same, that scientific names, that binomial names are known as taconyms. In these taxonomical categories, Carolus van Linnaeus proposed a method of sequential arrangement of various taxonomical categories in their descending order, which is known as taxonomical hierarchy. In the taxonomical hierarchy, there are 7 obligatory categories, which starts with kingdom and end with species, which is followed by kingdom is followed by phylum or division. After that, class, order, family, genus, species. Okay, so that 7 obligatory categories you must have to remember in their respective sequence. Along with this, you may use some intermediate categories like subkingdom, superphylum or superdivision, subphylum or subdivision, superclass, subclass, superorder, suborder, superfamily, subfamily, genus, species. In between there, tribe and subspecies also you may use. Okay, and what is the relationship? Okay, in the number of organisms and the relation or similarities between the organisms in ascending order and descending order. That is completed. In next class, we will discuss about all the 7 obligatory categories in detail along with their respective examples. Thank you.